Welcome to the Daily Review. This is Razak, Senior Trading Strategist here at CMTrading, and today is August 30th, 2024, and today is Friday morning. So looking at the highlights of the day, really markets wavering as we're closing into the end of August. Now looking at today's major economic events, so we start out the day at 11 a.m. South African time. From the European Union, we have a CPI Flash Estimates for the Euro, and then at 2:30 South African time from the United States, a PCI price index number coming out. Now looking at the various markets, starting out with the Forex symbols, the Euro retracing, and as we shift over to the indices, the Dow Jones was up, and pretty much the NASDAQ was unchanged. Now looking at commodities, gold retracing and trading in that range. And now looking at stocks, NVIDIA did forecast lower, although they hit their sales estimates, and then we had a gap down and we sold lower. Now lastly, looking at cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin's sitting on support. So let's take over the markets and see what we can expect from today's trading. So here we go. First with the Euro USD, it is a significant retracement from 111.90-ish level down to 110.70-ish level, almost 100 pips. Now remember, we went over 300 to 400 pips here, so that was a big rally up. Now I do expect it to be to that 110-ish level, so we have another about 70-ish pips for us to potentially retrace. However, we are on a potential support level, so just keep your eyes open for opportunities today if it does continue to sell off. Now you want to kind of pivot it against another currency. Now looking at the GBP USD, holding on a little bit stronger than the euro is, as you can see here, and the Australian dollar not budging, okay, holding on to its highs and not retracing at all. So we're seeing a little bit of strength there. Now jumping into commodities, gold just retracing down to 25.14 from 25.30-ish level where it hit earlier this week. Now, with it all said, okay, the markets are really wavering, okay, as we're hitting it to the end of August, the last week, obviously. The next week on Monday, we have a holiday due to Memorial Day, which is a major holiday in the United States, Labor Day. And with that said, just be aware that the markets are going to be trading a little bit lighter today going into the weekend, or we might have just one burst as the open enters the market. Now looking at the U.S. market, starting out with the Dow Jones, back on its all-time record highs right before we hit September. That's a major level. Now we're going to look at the bank stocks, which are holding the Dow Jones up. We're looking at the NASDAQ, just mildly lower yesterday. Not a big deal, okay, but you can see that it's wavering. Now jumping into the stocks, JP Morgan just hanging on to its all-time record highs, $222 a share. Now looking at the Bank of America, after selling off, it did bounce off of that 200-day moving average, a nice bounce there from $35 to $40 a share. Now looking at the tech stocks, Microsoft still relatively weak. That was the one that went lower, and that even dipped below, right? We saw that dip below 400, but it's selling off here, okay? And you're seeing like the crossovers between the moving averages here, especially the 30-day moving average finally catching up to the 8-day moving average. That may be a decent sign, okay, if we don't get some impetus on the upside for it to sell off again. Now looking at Bitcoin lastly, well, before Bitcoin, let's just take a look at NVIDIA. NVIDIA came out with its quarterly earning reports yesterday, and it had a gap down. It tried to stay alive, and then it didn't, and it broke lower, okay? On a 30-minute chart, for it to break the 200-day moving average, not a big deal, okay? But it is retracing. It's somewhere in the middle, which is really ironic, because we went from a high of 130-ish level down to a sell-off to 98, and now we're at just 115 after this forecast. Now keep in mind that moving forward, NVIDIA can't actually beat its next forecast, and all of a sudden everything's great again, okay? But they have to be transparent. They're just, kind of playing defensive when it comes to that. And so there's a little bit of a sell-off there. Now, we've got lots of news coming up in September, so we've got lots of things still to come. Now, looking at Bitcoin, we retraced to $58, and we're just sitting there on support, not tremendous level. So if you don't have to trade today, take maybe a day off, okay? The reason I'm saying this is that it is expected to be a lighter trading day due to the Labor Day weekend next week. So that's a major holiday in the United States. And, as that comes in, there's lighter trading volume. So keep that in mind. This is Razak. I want to wish you a great trading day and a beautiful weekend. Thank you.